writing about mesothelioma and asbestos litigation for years, I've seen every type of legal scam and questionable practice you can imagine. But if I had to pick just one red flag, the single biggest warning sign that you're dealing with the wrong mesothelioma lawyer, it would be this: a lawyer who asks you to pay money up front. That's it. If a lawyer wants payment before they've recovered a single dollar for you, walk away. Don't just be cautious. Don't ask more questions. Just leave. Today, I want to explain why this is such a crucial red flag and what you should expect instead. Hi, I'm Terry Oppenheimer. I've been writing about mesothelioma and asbestos for the website mesothelioma.net for over a decade. And today, I'm sharing the one thing that should immediately end your conversation with any mesothelioma attorney. Let me start by explaining how legitimate mesothelioma law firms work. The standard in asbestos litigation, and I mean the universal standard among reputable firms, is something called a contingency fee arrangement. In plain language, that means you pay absolutely nothing to hire the lawyer. You pay nothing while your case is being investigated and prepared. You pay nothing during negotiations or trial. And the lawyer only gets paid if you win your case or reach a settlement. When you do win or settle, the lawyer takes their fee as a percentage of your recovery. It's typically between 33 and 40%, depending on how complicated your case was and whether it went to trial or settled out of court. But here's the crucial part. If the case isn't successful, if you don't recover any compensation, you owe the lawyer nothing, nada, zero. The financial risk is entirely on the law firm, not you. Now, why does this system exist? It exists for two important reasons. First, it makes justice accessible. Mesothelioma patients are already facing crushing medical bills that can run hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. Many patients are either retired or have had to stop working due to their illness. The last thing anyone in this situation needs is to come up with thousands of dollars in legal fees just to hire an attorney. The contingency fee system means that anyone, regardless of their financial situation, can afford top-tier legal representation. The second reason is that it aligns the lawyer's interests with yours. When a lawyer only gets paid if you get paid, they're motivated to fight for the maximum possible compensation. They have a financial incentive to take your case seriously, to investigate it thoroughly, to build the strongest possible case, and to negotiate aggressively on your behalf. Their success depends entirely on your success. So, if a lawyer asks you to pay up front fees to represent you in an asbestos lawsuit, whether they call it a retainer, a consultation fee, case investigation fee, or anything else, what they're really telling you is one of two things. Either they don't believe in your case enough to invest their own resources, or they're just looking to collect fees from as many people as possible, regardless of whether the cases have merit. Think about it this way. If a law firm has successfully recovered millions of dollars for other mesothelioma clients, they have the resources to invest in investigating and preparing new cases. They don't need your money up front. They're willing to take on the financial risk because they're confident in their ability to win compensation for you. A law firm that asks for upfront payment is either inexperienced, unsuccessful, or dishonest. None of those attorneys are people you want representing you. Now, I want to address something I hear sometimes. But what about the costs of investigating my case? What about medical records, expert witnesses, court filing fees? These are legitimate expenses, and yes, they can add up. But here's the thing. Reputable mesothelioma law firms advance all of these costs on your behalf. They pay for everything up front, and they only recover those costs if they win your case for you. If the case isn't successful, you don't owe them for those expenses either. Now, I want to take a break here for a moment and remind everyone who's watching this video, if you're finding this information helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. It really helps us get our videos seen by as many people as possible. And if there's a topic you'd like to see covered or a question you'd like answered in a future video, let me know in the comments section. Also, make sure to watch until the end of the video, where I'll tell you exactly how to access help and resources if you or someone you love has been diagnosed with mesothelioma. Now, let me tell you what questions you should be asking any lawyer you're thinking of having represent you. When you're talking to a mesothelioma lawyer, here are the questions you should ask about fees. Do you work on a contingency fee basis? The answer should be an immediate and unqualified yes. What percentage do you take if we win? This should be clearly stated, typically between 33 and 40%. Are there any upfront costs or fees I need to pay? The answer should be no. Who pays for case expenses like medical records and expert witnesses? The answer should be that the firm advances all costs. If we don't win, do I owe you anything? The answer should be no. No attorney fees, no reimbursement for costs. If a lawyer hesitates on any of these questions or gives you answers that don't match up with what I've just described, that's your signal to politely back away. Thank them for their time and move on. You do not need to be confrontational about it. You can just say, I'm going to explore other options. Then contact a different firm. Speaking personally, I think this red flag becomes even more important when you consider the vulnerability of mesothelioma patients. This is a disease with a poor prognosis. Many patients are elderly. Many are dealing with difficult symptoms and treatment side effects. Some are facing severe financial strain from medical bills and lost income. Scammers know this, and they specifically target people in these vulnerable situations. They use high-pressure tactics and confusing language to convince people to pay upfront fees that they should never be asked to pay. That's why I'm so emphatic about this issue. It's not just about protecting your money, though that's certainly important. It's about protecting you from wasting precious time with the wrong lawyer when you could be working with someone who will actually fight for your rights and your compensation. Let me give you an example of what working with a legitimate firm looks like. When you contact a reputable mesothelioma law firm, here's what should happen. You have an initial consultation at no cost. They ask detailed questions about your diagnosis, your work history, and your asbestos exposure. They explain how the legal process works and what you can realistically expect. They tell you clearly that they work on contingency and that you won't pay anything unless you win. They give you time to think about it and make your decision without pressure. If you decide to move forward, they'll send you a contingency fee agreement to review. This document should spell out exactly what percentage they'll take and under what circumstances. Many good lawyers will encourage you to have someone else, a family member, a trusted friend, or even another attorney that you're familiar with, review this agreement with you before you sign it. That's the sign of a lawyer who wants you to feel comfortable and informed, not someone trying to rush you into a decision. Once you've signed the agreement, they'll get to work. They start gathering medical records, employment records, and other documentation. They might hire investigators or experts. They identify potential defendants and start building your case. All of this happens at their expense, not yours. You don't get a bill. You don't get asked for money. You just get updates on how the case is progressing. Compare that to what happens with a scam operation who will push you to pay immediately. They might say things like, oh, we need a retainer to start investigating, or there's a consultation fee to review your case, or we require payment for case filing. These are all red flags. Legitimate mesothelioma firms don't operate this way, period. I also want to mention that if you've already paid money to a lawyer and you're now concerned that you might be working with the wrong one, it's not too late to make a change. You have the right to terminate your relationship with any lawyer at any time. You can hire a different attorney. Now, there may be some complications around fees if your first lawyer did substantial work on your case, but those issues can be worked out. The important thing is that you shouldn't stay with a lawyer you don't trust just because you've already started working with them. So, that's my biggest mesothelioma lawyer red flag. Any request for upfront payment. It doesn't matter what they call it, whether it's a retainer, a consultation fee, case cost, filing fee. If they want money before they've recovered compensation for you, that is not how reputable mesothelioma law firms operate. With legitimate firms, victims pay nothing unless they win. The standard is that the law firm advances all case costs and your lawyer's success depends on your success. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you deserve experienced legal representation that fights for the maximum compensation you're entitled to. Don't let scammers take advantage of you during this difficult time. Know this red flag, watch for it, and walk away the moment you see it. In the meantime, visit mesothelioma.net and fill out our form for a free information packet with comprehensive medical and legal information. You can also call us at 1-800-692-8608 or use our live chat feature on the website to speak directly to one of our helpful patient advocates. As for me, remember to post any questions you have below, and I'll see you next time.